All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host for today's broadcast, Insane Layer 13. I am hoping that the Forza will let me load in as a spectator when they go between the qualifying mode they are currently in and the race mode later. Right now, they are just knocking out mandatory qualifying. Race will be afterwards. This is going to be a 120 lap race. The first 2 laps are under the pace, and then the last 10 laps that are on that list are just there for green, white, checkered overdrives if they are so needed. There are no mandatory yellows in the event, and there are just the normal damage rules as far as I understand. We are looking at a relatively smaller field today, about 11 cars. Main reason I'm doing this is because for the Adrenaline Racing League, who have been doing leagues in NASCAR for Forza basically since the launch of Forza Motorsport 7, this is projected to be their last NASCAR race that they will have in Forza Motorsport 8. The majority of the grid is setting themselves up to go and start broadcasting the next NASCAR game that is supposed to drop in a few months' time. So they are looking at this as being their farewell. There is a championship that is technically up in play. However, just by virtue of starting today's race, King Cameron is going to lock up that championship pretty much by default. When it comes down to everything else, it's really just going to be a matter of we focus on the race, and there's not going to be a whole lot of other stuff going on. Right now, as they're going through qualifying, is looking like Max D is setting himself up for pole position, but he is only 0.008 of a second, a lap faster than Wolf Raven right now. NC is the guy who is kind of trying to fight with King Cameron for the championship. He is currently poised to qualify ahead of King Cameron in today's event. Be aware also that there is going to be a bit of a delay, as this series likes to back their cars at an angle up against the outside wall at the start of the race, and they will go ahead and knock out a rendition of the American anthem before they get underway proper with the event. But right now we are currently just in a holding pattern, waiting for the field to knock out the rest of their qualifying before we get underway for the race proper here. All right, so now you can see the projected starting grid for today's event. It looks like RV and Diamond and Zay16020 are going to be starting at the back of the grid after not saying any clean laps in qualifying proper. But it looks like it will be Max D who will be starting on the pole for today's event, followed by Wolf Raven 24, Eva VR Rewar, iRazor, NC Boy for Life, King Cameron, Nyx Designs, and here we are. It looks like it's going to work. 11 drivers for today's event, 120 laps. So we're looking at a race that will be roughly 180 miles overall. You will have Wolf Raven, you will have Max D, followed by Wolf Raven, followed by EVR Rewar. Interesting thing to consider is that Rewar has a little bit more fuel. Everyone's anticipated to run softs all the way through. Fourth place star will be iRazor. After that will be NC Boy for Life. After that will be King Cameron. Following him will be Nyx Designs, who has a very low fuel load to the start of this race by the looks of it. Then will be MFT Wazowski, not to be confused with Mike Wazowski. After that will be Cosmic. And Cosmic in that Dr. Perry Dark Berry number 24 will be in 9th. Then you'll have RV and Diamond, who also has a relatively small fuel tank. And then Zay who is currently just about filled up in his fuel tank. And we'll load onto the circuit proper in about a minute's time here. So be aware, apparently there will also be a competition caution at lap 25 of the event. Just be aware of that as the field begins to get themselves ordered up, and they will back themselves up against the wall. We're going to knock out an ad break so we can try and run as much of this race under commercial-free broadcasting as we possibly can. Also, I do apologize for my voice. I have gone through 2 races, one of them a mini enduro and one of them a Daytona race already, so I do apologize. My voice seems to be falling apart right now. But we'll be back shortly here at Miami. All right, hopefully that was good enough to give them some good shots post-event. As we are saying by right now, as they're completing their pre-race activities before they get underway here. All right, we are underway here. We'll have 2 pace laps here at Miami. Your pole sitter is Max DXX21 in that number 20 Interstates Batteries car, followed by the Dr. Pepper number 91 of Wolf Raven. After that is EVR Rewar in the number 29. Then it will be iRazor in the number 9 Jack Daniels machine. NC Boy for Life will be on the inside of row 3, and he'll be alongside this season's champion in the number 26 GameStop King Cameron 1607. After that will be Nick's Designs, who will be starting alongside MFT Wazowski as we see the field head down into turn 3. Row 5 will consist of Cosmic 189744 and RVN Diamond, and rounding out the back of the grid will be Zay 16020, who is taking the escape road right now. We are not 100% sure what the reason is for that right now. So they will not be going green this lap. They will be going green next lap here. And it will be 120 laps. Now, if there are late race yellows, we could see the finish go later than that. This series does give room for overtime restarts, but ideally the race will end on lap 122 of the event. Also on lap 25, I believe it will be 27 on the ticker, we will have a competition caution so drivers can check the wear of their tires and put on new tires if they so choose. So several of the drivers further back who are running with low fuel loads will be able to go ahead and take advantage of a low fuel load now to rush through the field, but they will likely end up losing some ground with having to put more fuel in the car in pit lane. So the field now gathers up 5.5 rows here at Homestead Miami Speedway. $180 miles, 120 laps here. As they come out of turn number 4, the field all gathered up. For the final time, Adrenaline Racing will get underway. We are green flag here at Homestead Miami Speedway. 20 holds the inside line without too much issue. Wolf Raven on the outside, now building up a run. Pulls up alongside. He's on the wider outside line. Can't seem to make it stick. Ends up falling back. There'll be 3 wide for third behind. Here comes Rewar on the inside. Neck and neck now as they head into turn 2, and Max has gone trapped on the outside line. The 29 Red Bull machine now goes to the front, but he leaves the inside open to iRazor. So now it's iRazor's turn. We've already had one overtake for a lead in a single lap, and while Rewar leads at the line going into turn 1, it looks like it will go down to iRazor, who goes into the lead. Now they are 3 wide farther back, and the number 9 Jack Daniels slides up high, slaps the outside wall on corner exit, and now it's the number 91 of Wolf Raven who has a run. Wolf Raven goes to the inside of the 9, and now he's gonna go by. Wolf Raven scoots ahead, and he goes wide, runs himself and the 9 up high, and now it's going to be EVR Rewar who goes back to the front. So every pair of corners, it's a change for the lead here. The 29 leads at the line. The 91 runs right behind, just about nose to tails to go through 1 and 2 this time. That Dr. Pepper machine goes deep. He's going to hold a nice tight line, but the 29 will have the run coming out of the corner. It's a dead heat between the two, but it looks like the 29 has just enough momentum. He'll hold the outside line. Wolf Raven on the inside, neck and neck. RV and Diamond has already lost touch with the leads at the back of the field. The top 4, everyone, the top 10, all within 3/4 of a second of each other. At the line, Rewar leads again. And now we see Nick's Design goes to the inside of Wolf Raven, trying to make it side by side for the second position. There's the 9 car of iRazor in the zone as well. They are just about 3 wide for a position for second there. The 15 goes to the extreme inside. Here they come. They'll be 4 wide almost. They almost got 4 wide, but drivers backed out. They didn't want to do anything too crazy yet. Rewar holds station with iRazor and Wolf Raven running side by side right behind. King Cameron, this season's champion, hangs out in the 4th spot now. He goes to the inside. He'll clear iRazor down the straightaway, and now he'll pull up alongside Wolf Raven as they go into turns 1 and 2. But Wolf Raven goes deep enough into a corner. He'll keep that number 26 GameStop car behind him just for the moment. So it is Rewar, Wolf Raven, and King Cameron, top 10, all on top of each other in a nice little pack here at Miami. They fire off now once more in turns 3 and 4. Top 4 cars all going down into single file order as everyone's kind of found their momentum, found their lines, and someone has slapped the wall farther back there. That is NC Boy for Life, who was second in points coming into today. No damage, he'll be able to continue, but he bled off a lot of speed hitting the outside wall back there. And now we see Wolf Raven is done running single file. He gets to the inside of the 29 on corner exit, but all he does is slow himself up. Now King Cameron looks to his inside. Wolf Raven goes deep, tries to get to the inside of Rewar, but ends up sliding himself wide on exit. Went a little bit too deep, compromises run out. He goes in the wall. The 13 gets turned, and the 13 is just going to go barely around there. Zay is sideways, and the field will avoid Zay. Rewar leads. It is now iRazor and King Cameron side by side for second. Max and Nix side by side for fourth, as Rewar now tries to open the gap on the rest of the field just a little bit here. Through 3 and 4 again. And now iRazor has a run on the outside, but it just takes him nowhere. There's not really anywhere for him to go. King Cameron has a bit of a run on the inside, but he's not close enough to do anything to Rewar. He is still side by side trying to get away from iRazor. Razor trapped on the higher outside line. It's going to let that number 15 Uno car get alongside of him. And now here comes the number 20 of Max D, your pole sitter. Now the 15 gives the GameStop car a little bit of a push. This might be a change for a lead here. Cameron inside, Rewar outside, side by side as they go through 3 and 4. And it looks like the 26 will clear the 29. He's really high, really wide, kills some of his momentum on corner exit, but Cameron will be our third different leader at the line. Rewar trying to wrap around the outside to get back alongside that number 26, and iRazor still hangs out in position. Our top 8 all still right on top of each other within 3/4 of a second of each other right now. 29 back to the inside of the 26. Drag race down the straightaway, but it looks like it will be Rewar on the inside that can go nice, choose his lane pretty much into 3 and 4. The 26 comes down low, tries to cut some of Rewar's exit momentum off. They'll be in a dead heat coming out of the corner. There'll be a drag race at the line. The leader ends up being just barely. It looks like it was Rewar. No, maybe it was Cameron. Cameron gets the nose ahead again as they head into turn 1. The 29 comes back now on the inside. 26 outside, 29 inside. iRacers continues to run just behind as we ride on board with Nick's designs. As he watches them go 3 wide just ahead of him for the lead. The 29 backs out, does not want to be in the middle of that. So it's going to be iRacers and King Cameron going side by side to make a little bit of contact in the corner. They're both wide. There goes Max. There goes Rewar. Nick slips back to 5th now. The pack all still tucked on top of each other. That's the 24 of Cosmic on. Nix is inside. They're still side by side for the lead there. The 9's going to wash high just in front of Rewar. Cameron, here comes Rewar on the inside. It looks like it's iRacers who will be our 4th different leader at the line now. Again, remember, there is a mandatory caution on lap 25. Which will likely be 27 in the lap counter. So everyone's really just kind of feeling their cars out, getting ideas to what their cars can do right now. But this has been honestly pretty solid, pretty incredible for the moment. Nix has to deal with Max D on his outside as they drag race for 5th position. But it goes back to being Rewar and Cosmic and iRacers at the head of this field. Early on, at least, it seems like Rewar is the man to beat in today's race. The 24 of Cosmic tries to pull up alongside. Gets a bit of a run. Cosmic is going to be the one who will dictate the lines going into 3 and 4 this time. Leaves the inside lines open, but iRacers is not close enough to capitalize. Bit of a twitch farther back. I think that was Wolf Raven. And he's going to slip behind Wazowski now off of that. But now Cosmic leads. So about half of our field now has led at least 1 lap at the line. We're only 16 laps into this. iRacers, tight line. Pulls him up alongside Rewar. Cosmic is really wide on corner exit. Taps the outside wall just a little bit. Here comes the field. They're going to be 2 wide. Razor thought about making it 3 wide. Is not going to commit to it. So Rewar goes back to the lead now as they go through 3 and 4. So already about 1/10 of the way through the race. As MFT Wazowski hits the wall further back. So Wazowski and Wolf Raven have now lost touch. It's now a 6-car pack at the head of the field. And even at that, Max D is at risk of falling off the back of this pack. Here comes King Cameron to the inside of iRacers. It's the inside again. There's just nothing to do there. iRacers to the outside. Rewar inside. Drag race at the line. Rewar has it, but iRacers continues to push his advantage. He'll have the longer, wider outside line through 1 and 2. But he's going to try and pinch Rewar down, try to deny Rewar a good exit here. And then number 9 should have a good run on the straight. What does King Cameron do? Is he going to try and pull to the inside, make it 3 wide? No, he thinks better of it. He's just going to push Rewar into the corner, try to get the 29 to clear that number 9 machine. The 29 slides up in front of the 9. He slides really far up, nearly into the wall. That backs them all up just a bit. And now King Cameron on the inside has a run. The 9 is now on the inside of Rewar. Side by side again. They are 3 wide, just a little bit behind. But the 9, the 29, and to a lesser extent the 26 seem to be the best cars at this stage of the event. Rewar again on iRacers inside, side by side for a position. King Cameron runs just a little bit behind. I think most of these drivers have a good idea now as to how their cars are going to handle as the fuel load burns off and as the tires go away. We'll be under a mandatory yellow in about 6 to 7 laps here. But they have been putting on a fantastic show early on here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Now we see the 29 squeeze the 9 up the track just a little bit. Now the 26 goes to the inside. He wants to make it 3 wide for a lead this time as they go into the corner, but it is Rewar who backs out of it. So iRacers will have mostly clean track as he goes into the corner. The 26 has a run, but not enough to get alongside the 9, not yet. So iRacers continues to lead at the line this time by. About 1/6 of the way through the race now. Well, almost a 1/6 of the way through. And now iRacers opens the gap just a little bit. Here comes your pole sitter, Max D, on the inside of a 3-way fight for second. 3 wide's a little bit tight with these cars. Not impossible at Miami, but it's a little bit difficult. It looks like it's going to be the 29 on the extreme outside who gets compromised. And MFT Wazowski is ducking into the pits, but well before the yellow flag, the guaranteed yellow flag that's supposed to happen 25 laps in. So that will likely put Wazowski a lap down. We're not sure what's happened there to warrant that. King Cameron starting to line up a run on iRacers again here. And Rewar has slipped to third, now under pressure from your pole sitter, Max. And now Wolfraven dives into the pit. So I have to wonder if those two drivers underfilled their cars, thinking that there would be a yellow flag sooner than there ended up being. So they will both go a lap down by the end of this. They'll get a lap back under the yellow flag more than likely, but still that's going to be a little bit frustrating. We'll put them a bit behind the 8 ball in today's event. You ride on board with Cosmic at the back of what has gradually decayed into a 6-car train. Although moves at the front are not uncommon, it is starting to become a little bit lesser and less common, as now these drivers are just trying to nurse their tires going forward. %9 left in the tank here, but it is 41% on that right front. So those soft tires just about cooked here. So I imagine almost everyone who started this race in soft will be rushing into pits to throw on different kinds of tires. The question is going to be, what do you want to throw on? If the soft tires can go about 25 racing laps, that would suggest that the mediums can go about 37 and the hards could go about 50. After the pit stop, there will be only about 100 laps left. If we stay green all the way through, you could potentially throw on hard tires and try and make it to the end on just a single stop in this race. Also, Wolfraven, credit where credit is due, is maintaining a lead lap position for now. So Wazowski is the only driver a lap down at the moment. iRacers leads. King Cameron is second. Rewar third. Max fourth. Nick's fifth. And Cosmic is sixth. NC Boy is a long way off in 7th. Arbian Diamond is a little further back in 8th. Zay is 9th. Wolfraven is in 10th. And Wazowski in 11th. And this is our mandatory caution, our competition caution. So we're going to go ahead and knock out an ad break during this competition yellow, and we'll catch you up on all the strategies and all the choices made by the field when we come back here to Homestead, Miami. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Homestead, Miami. The entire field is under competition caution, 25 laps into the event, and everyone is going to get off of a set of worn soft tires. Now the question is, what is the strategy going to be to the end of the race? Also, MFT Wazowski got back onto the lead lap, so everyone is on the lead lap. Everyone is going to be on the same strategy. This could be a 1-stop race to the end, a 2-stop race, or a 3 or 4-stop race to the end. We are still not 100% sure because, again, this race is supposed to end on lap 122. We are currently at about 96 laps left in the event. Everyone is all on track now. iRazor, 59% in his fuel tank. King Cameron, 69%. Rewar in third, after pitting, has a full fuel tank right now. Cosmic in fourth, 70%. Max in fifth, a full fuel tank. Wolf Raven in sixth position, 91%. Seventh is Zay, 60%. Nyx, who is in eighth, 70%. Ninth is NC Boy for Life with a full fuel tank. 10th, RVN Diamond, 98%. And MFT Wazowski, 98. Field is doing a little bit of a split right now. I believe they're doing that to try and order themselves up properly in the double file order, and they will be coming to the green flag this time by. We have about 93 laps left in the event. Yeah, 93 laps left when we come to the green flag. If you can go hard and you can make the fuel last, you could make it to the end of this race on only one stop, but that also would ask for the race to go clean and green all the way through. A yellow flag would derail that kind of strategy. So iRazor inside, King Cameron outside, then Cosmic and Rewar share row 2, and Raven and Max, your pulsator, share row 3. As it come down to the line, we'll go green flag once again here at Homestead Miami Speedway. iRazor had a relatively good launch, and immediately Rewar ducks to the extreme inside line, trying to make something happen down there. Razor runs a little bit wider there. Nowhere for the 26 to go. He's tucked between the 9, the 29, and the wall. Here's Cosmic on the inside as well. iRazor continues to lead for the moment. Down the front straightaway. And off into the banked corners 1 and 2. Team stop driver goes a little bit high there. Razor leads without too much issue for the moment. Cosmic holding on to third. Reward holding on to second. Field already kind of starting to spread apart here. As you look at the back of the field, RV and Diamond having trouble keeping up with the lead pack. But you have to wonder how many of these drivers are put a big fuel tank on and are trying to run on harder tires, or is everyone just going to commit to softs? Everyone's gotten really comfortable with how the softs run. You're going to be really used to how the softs, you don't want to have to relearn how to take the track now with a harder tire compound. Looks like the top 5 are pulling away from the rest of the field just a little bit as we ride on board with RV and Diamond here. Field goes by. Man, that's a good shot. So Cosmic fighting with Wolf Raven and iRazor, as iRazor has lost the lead, fallen to the middle of the pack. So Rewar is now your leader at this stage of the event. Is everyone running the same tires again? I think everyone might just be running softs again. Yeah, it looks like everyone is running soft tires again here. So if everyone's just running softs to the end, then there's not really going to be a lot of strategy to consider if everyone's just going soft all the way through the event today. A lot of the questions just going to be drivers trying to make their next pit stops a little shorter by not putting as much in the fuel tank, but they will be heavier on track, and that could be slowing their lap times down a little bit. RV and Diamond has completely lost touch with the rest of the field right now, as is King Cameron and Wolf Raven side by side through 1 and 2. So if a set of tires can take you about 25 laps, and there was 92 left when we went to the green flag, this will be a three more stops in this race. And we'll anticipate the next stop at around lap 45 to 55. Full credit where credit is due. They are doing a fantastic job keeping it clean and giving each other lots of racing room. Now that will likely change later in the event once it starts coming down to game time. You have to go for wins, but right now everyone is being very relaxed and giving each other plenty of room on the circuit. 2 by 2 by 2 right now. Cameron and Wolfraven holding station. It looks like for now Wolfraven scoots ahead as Cameron on the higher outside lines is not able to hold on as well. As the tires fall off, these drivers have a lot more trouble making moves and holding the outside lane around the circuit here. And that is NC Boy for Life, who has gotten into the wall and is going to hemorrhage a huge chunk of time in the process. So just like what we saw before the competition caution, we start with this really big pack, but as it goes on, some of these drivers just having trouble keeping their cars straight and off of the wall, and they hit the wall, they have a bit of a slide. Not a spin, these cars aren't powerful enough to really spin out very easily, but they have a bit of a slide, and the process is just bleed off time and lose touch with the lead pack, and the lead pack gets less and less energetic, a little bit more spread out, and a little bit more calm as it goes on, as everyone's just trying to hold their tires. My interest is going to be who can go deeper on the fuel and tire runs, and how is that going to play out as this race goes on. 24 holds the inside, and Cosmic goes back to the lead. iRazor now back into second, Wolfraven third, King Cameron fourth, Nix in fifth. Look at that big dive to the extreme inside by Nix. He's going to hold it even with King Cameron, and Cameron trapped on the outside doesn't really feel like he can do anything to fight back, I imagine. Doesn't quite hit the outside wall, though. So that pass is not done yet. Now it's done, as Nix finally completes the overtake there. From the drone cam, as we watch Cosmic in this fight for first, second, and third. Doze to the inside of iRazor here. Bit of contact. It looks like it's going to be a drag race onto the straightaway. But the Jack Daniels car has a bit of a run coming off of the banking. Cosmic should be able to go really deep into turn one. And that's exactly what happens. Cosmic pushes up just a little high there, but it does look like iRazor has this figured out right now in his favor. Now Cosmic goes really deep, gets a nice push from Raven, and that might be all it takes. Out the back of Wolfraven, you can see the field gets a huge run though. So it looks like Cosmic was just a little bit too tight, bled off too much momentum in the corner. They are 3 wide for lead ahead. A little bit of contact there between Wolfraven and King Cameron. And Raven on the outside has it. Top 8 all on top of each other still. Contact there. And look at how that number 15 goes through such an extreme inside line. Nix wants to go as far to the inside as possible. Oh, and there's a little bit of contact there. They'll keep it going though, no issue. Cars are slow enough and depowered enough that actually having an accident is really difficult. You can't really get away from these people you are with. The big thing is really going to spread out the field. I imagine it's going to be who can handle the worn out tires better near the end of the fuel and tire run. We are anticipating pit stops here in about 5 or so laps, I'd imagine. I'm sorry, not 5 or so laps, but in about 15 to 20 laps or so. . Boy, Wolf Raven went way too high, way too wide, couldn't carry any momentum through the corner and drops well down the order now. They're 3 wide again going into the corner, and that's a little bit of a change we're seeing. Early on, it was not a lot of 3 wide action. It was a lot of just single or 2 wide moves. People were kind of avoiding 3 wide. Now, drivers are a lot more willing to send it up on the inside 3 wide. They're still giving each other room, but patience is starting to run out, and drivers are starting to make a little bit more aggressive moves on the racetrack here. We're on lap 43, realistically. It says 45, but realistically it's 43. So we are about a third of the way through today's race. Everyone is still on the lead lap, although RV and Diamond has continued to bleed off speed and will likely go a lap down before this race is over at the rate that our lead pack of cars is going. Now we see that number 13 lick that outside wall once again there. Down the front stretch. Top 4, top 5 almost, single file out. Although Max is not happy with that. He'll go to the inside of Cosmic there. King Cameron didn't have a great run out too, and now here comes Rewar to his inside. Won't commit to it though. The entire field will go almost fully single file now as they go through 3 and 4. So as the tires are falling off, everyone's just kind of relaxing and pulling back and just trying to manage their tires at this stage of the event here. 25% for Zay. For Nix, he is at 33%. For Max, his tires, 31%. Cosmic in 5th, 34%. For Wolf Raven, who runs in 4th position, as they are starting to get racy again, he's at 31%. Rewar, tire life, 33%. King Cameron, 34, and iRazor, last of these drivers in the lead pack, he's at 32% tire life. So everyone's burning through their tires at roughly the same rate. The question is going to be, how deep into the tire run do you want to run? Do you think there's going to be advantage to staying out longer on older tires now so you don't have to deal with older tires later in the event? Bit of a slide there. Rewar goes to the outside of iRazor. King Cameron continues to run just behind. We are on board with Cosmic again. Zowski and NC Boy have recovered a bit. They're not really closing on a lead group, but they've stopped hemorrhaging time. If something happens to this lead group, they could start closing in and gaining a little bit more time here on the circuit. They'll go single file for like a lap or 3, and then immediately moves start happening. No one really seems to be content to just run in line and just hold station and run their fuel and tire numbers down. Everyone here is actively jockeying for position throughout this event. And again, drivers, when they make their pit stops, the drivers who have less fuel in their tanks will have to spend more time in pit lane. The drivers with a heavier fuel load ideally will have to spend less time in pit lane, and that could end up being a big thing. If you are up at the front and you already had a heavy fuel load, you come out of pit lane, you might be far enough away that you can break the draft and try to scoot away from the rest of the field. Cosmic giving King Cameron just a small push. It's not really a big shove. It's a really small push down the straight. So that 26 can pull alongside the 29. And now Rewar, trapped on the outside, is going to lose not just 1 but 2 positions in a pair of corners. So Cosmic moves up into 3rd. King Cameron about 0.4 of a second off from iRazor right now. Can he close back in on that silver number 9 who is leading? Ooh, Cosmic slaps the outside wall. That gives the outside line to the 29. Here he comes. Looks to the inside, not able to commit to it. Big slide farther back there by Max D. And he's going to lose a bunch of time now. In fact, as this is going on, Wolf Raven's falling off. Nick's Designs is falling off. Max is falling off. And all of them are about to come into Zay's lane as well. So the entire lead pack is really spread apart at this stage of the event. Only the top 4 now are within a second of the leader. And as this is going on, there may be a chance that we'll see NC Boy for Life run down at least Zay, if not a few more drivers. iRazor is at 17% left in the fuel tank, so he doesn't have a lot of fuel left. What of King Cameron? 26%, and he has caught iRazor once again. Cosmic in third, 24% in his tank. Rewar, who runs in fourth position, 55%. Wolf Raven, who is fighting for fifth, 46. So drivers farther back have a lot more fuel in the tanks. Now that the tires are burning off, the thing that's really helping everyone else, because everyone is having their tires burn off at an even rate, the drivers who are moving to the front are the ones with less fuel in their cars, because they can carry more speed. They're not dealing with as much centrifugal force through the corners. That seems to be the main reason why the top four are pulling away like they are at this stage of the event. So our first round of pit stops was on about lap 25. We have gone 30 laps on this run of fuel and tires. And if you look at those tire life, 44% right now for iRazor. Here comes King Cameron. Cameron goes to the inside. He'll move into the lead of the race now. He is at 47%, so his tires are much more worn. He has more fuel, but his tires have a lot more wear on them right now. And the top four have truly blitzed away from the rest of the field now. Wolf Raven, Max D, Nix, and Zay are in a little pack of their own. 4-car pack at the front, 4-car pack at the back. And that, when I say that, Cosmic hits the outside wall. He is losing touch with King Cameron and iRazor now. So the momentum seems to be seeing their field gradually split apart into smaller and smaller packs. Ooh, Cameron had a really bad run in 3 and 4 there, and iRazor goes back to the lead of the pack here. MFT Wazowski is now pitting out 10th position. So was he just unhappy with his tires? He's at 52%. I have a feeling that's exactly what happened. Top four now kind of closing back in on each other. They're all within about 3/4 of a second right now. They've opened up about a 2-second gap on that pack from 5th to 8th. NC for Life is another 2 seconds out. RV and Diamond is 18 seconds off the lead. Almost a little bit more than half a lap down at this stage of the event. And we have stayed clean and green. We have only had one yellow flag, which was a mandatory competition caution on lap 23. We have stayed green since then. Not quite halfway through, but we are almost there, and we are anticipating most of our field will make their second pit stop sooner rather than later. I'm really shocked that these drivers have pushed as far as they have on this set of tires, but they seem to have a lot more confidence. They have been running these cars in this championship for about 7 years between Forza Motorsport 7 and Forza Motorsport 8. Familiarity definitely has something to do with this. Cosmic and Rewar continue to hang out in Razor and Cameron's general zip code, but they are not close enough to really make a move or put any pressure on them. And now Nix Designs is going to pit out of 8th position. So he'll be the first of our top 8 to make a stop. How far was he willing to push his tires? That is my question. He's at 56%. So what of our leaders? How much deeper do they go into the run? 52% for iRazor, but he's almost out of fuel. For King Cameron, he's at 56%, but he has quite a bit more fuel. For Cosmic, who is in third, he is at 12% fuel, 60%, and Rewar, who runs right behind him, is at 56% with a lot more fuel. Rewar could be setting himself up very well long-term, as now NC Boy for Life goes ahead and makes a stop farther back. And with everyone running all sauce all the way through, I don't imagine we're going to see a lot of strategy wildness going on here. Rewar goes to the inside, goes to the outside as Cosmic lets him by. That is Nix Designs, who has gone a lap down, and he's right in front of this duo. But Nix will be on fresher tires. He should be able to run up to the leaders in just a few laps here. Oh, and that's a spin. That is a spin by the 7th place driver of Zay. Tried to get into the pit lane and just could not keep the car under him and spun out. And any chance he had at the top 5 is likely going to get derailed with that unless we have a yellow. iRazor now opening the gap on King Cameron as Rewar and Cosmic have fallen over a second off of our leaders. Diamond has gone ahead and joined Zay in pit lane. When do our leaders pit, though? Well, here's your answer. iRazor is pitting now, and so is King Cameron. So is Cosmic, but Rewar is going to stay out a little longer. He's not the only one. Max D is going to stay out a little longer, and this will also cycle Nick's Design back onto the lead lap as he will start trying to scoot away from these other drivers by virtue of undercutting. He pitted earlier. For Rewar, he is trying to do the overcut. He's trying to go really deep on this tire run, but look at this. He already has 61% wear on those tires. How much longer does he dare risk to stay out here? King Cameron and iRazor. Most of these drivers are already coming out of pit lane, and now Rewar comes in, and so does Max. So iRazor will likely cycle around and get the lead back. You have to use the proper pit lane exit here, and iRazor has opened up a gap on King Cameron. Where is this going to put him, though, in relation to Rewar and Max? He's going to be a little bit behind on tires, but he is going to be potentially ahead on track position. Gap between Razor and King Cameron seems to be pretty significant right now. Already our top two rolling down pit lane. Rewar has come out of pit lane. He is now on the exit road. The exit road is tight, but it is flat. You have to be very careful through there. And iRazor's already by your Max D, who is your pole sitter. He's already by Rewar, and iRazor now gets a chance to start opening the gap against the rest of the field. Or is Rewar going to be in relation to King Cameron? Cameron outside, Rewar inside, side by side. Cameron completes the overtake. So iRazor now has a 2.5 lead over King Cameron, who has Rewar and Cosmic right behind them. Wolf Raven is back there in 5th, just a little bit ahead of Max C. Now it's a bit farther back to Nick's Designs, then NC Boy for Life. Zay is way off the pace. Then it's MFT Wazowski, and then you have, well, actually, MFT Wazowski is there fighting with NC Boy for with Zay. I did not realize these two were actively fighting for position. I do apologize for that. And then last place on track is RV Diamond, who is on track to likely go a lap down in the next 10 to 15 circuits here. So we focus now on this fight for second position. We'll go ahead and ride on board with Rewar for a few laps, give you an idea what some fighting laps are like here in these cars here at Homestead Miami Speedway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you back here to Homestead Miami Speedway. Our first round of green flag pit stops took place between laps 55 and 65. We're anticipating our next rounds to be between about lap 80 and 95, and those pit stops will likely take you near the end of the race, but if we start getting yellow flags and start getting green, white, checkered overdrives, race could get really weird really fast. Your leader is iRazor. Took the lead before the pit stops, but now he is in the lead. Had a great run coming out of the pits and is just scooting away from the rest of the field now. Cosmic, King Cameron, and Rewar are having a nice little three-way fight for second between each other. And then farther back, Wolf Raven and Max D are having a fight for 5th. Nix is hanging out in 7th. NC Boy is in 8th. MFT Wazowski and Zay have gone side by side for several laps here. They are fighting for 9th and 10th. And then RV and Diamond is at risk of going a lap down sooner rather than later here. I'm honestly shocked at how long these two are willing to stay side by side, lap after lap here. And that was Cosmic, who slapped the outside wall there, coming onto the back straightaway. So he's going to bleed off a big chunk of time in the process there. So we're about 50 laps left in the event now. 5-0. We have crossed the halfway point. We have only had one yellow flag, a competition caution back on lap 23. A check tire wear. Since then, it has been clean and green all since. We've only had one real spin, and that was Zay, who had a big slide, missing pit lane entry. Other than that, it has been clean and green since. RVN Diamond has now gone a lap down to your leader, iRazor. Right now, this fight here between Wolf Raven and Max D seems to be the most active one on track at the moment. Although there is also Zay and Witzowski who have been going back and forth for a bit as well, but this one's a little bit higher up on track. Remember, Max pole setter, but pole single lap pace does not necessarily translate over into racing performance. This duo now back at it again for second, as Cosmic has kind of lost touch with him after brushing the wall. So Rebar and Cameron fighting for the last two steps on the podium as iRazor continues to run in clean air, and in the process, he has been extending his gap on the rest of the field slowly but surely. We'll see the entire field go by here. Cameron and Rewar continue to go back and forth here for the second position on track. Seems like this fight's kind of breaking up as well now as this is going on. There is still this to watch, though, as Nyx has been caught by Wolf Raven. They are continuing to go back and forth for their positions. neck and neck for 6th. Wolf Raven inside, Nix on the outside. The other thing to consider, drivers did not pit at all the same times, and we're only going to see the difference on when people pit get bigger and bigger. Depending on when drivers make their stops, we could see a lot of wild cards. We are about 42 laps out from the end of the race right now, about 41 laps now from the end of the race. Lap 122 is race end. We are anticipating that everyone, depending on how far they can run on this set of fuel and tires, should be able to make it on a single stop. But the drivers who pit early may be a little bit borderline on their fuel numbers. Fight for second continues now. Well, it's more like a stalking battle than a fight. They're not really outright battling for a position. They're just kind of stalking each other, waiting for one of them to make a mistake, to make a move and spring forward here. 29 continues to hold station behind the 26. iRacers has led the most laps of this race today. About half of the field has led at least one lap at the line. I think we've had 6 different leaders throughout the event, if my memory serves correctly here. Rewar has a small potential advantage over the drivers around him. He pitted a little bit later, so he can go farther on the tires without too much issue. And he'll be hoping that that gives him some positive results later on. Second and third, as they continue to stalk each other, run about 3 seconds off of our leader, iRacers, right now with about 40 laps left in the event. This duo continues to go at it. Nix and Wolf Raven slinging back and forth. And when it's just two of you like this, it's really easy to lose pace and lose track of how much time you are losing while fighting with somebody else. You're compromising your lines entering or exiting because you're so focused trying to get the position ahead of you. It's just, you can bleed off so much time in a fight like this. We saw there, Wolf Raven hit the apron, drifted way too wide, and it's let Nix get back alongside. Drag race again now as they head into turn number 1. It looks like Nix will take it for now. And immediately he starts sliding wide. And Wolf Raven crosses him over. Not quite contact there. Came really close, but not quite contact. Right on board with Rewar, the last driver to have pitted of the lead group. He is at 50% in the fuel tank. He's got 39% on that right front wear. I look at King Cameron, who is just ahead. 56% left, 41% on the wear. For iRacers, your leader, who is holding his 3-second gap, 39%, 16% left in the fuel tank, though. That is the big thing. iRacers is keeping his fuel numbers very, very low. Actually, I'm going to try and calculate exactly how much fuel iRacers is using in a lap here. So I'm going to run on board for a lap. We're going to try and get an idea exactly how much fuel iRacers uses around a flying lap here at Miami. 15.2 at the line. All right, so if you're using about 1.8 to 1.75% of your fuel tank in a lap, you do the math, a full tank would get you, well, about 55 laps or so. But these drivers aren't really worried about that. They've been worried more about tire life than fuel. iRacers, though, if he's using about not quite 2% in a lap, he'll probably be out here for about another 6 laps before pitting. So we'll likely see him pit around lap 96. So he'll pit, and there will be about 26 laps left in the race for iRacers. He's going to be cutting his numbers a little bit close here on the fuel numbers. That is Wazowski, who is way off pace there on the front straightaway. No damage, but I think he's cooked his tire a bit too far, and now he's just trying to keep it under him. Wolfraven and Nix will not stop going back and forth between each other. But it's been a relatively clean race, and here comes Nix. So Nix, once again, will be the first of the lead group to pit. So green flag pit stops are back underway for all intents and purposes. iRacers leads by 2.5 seconds. He's only got about, 4 more laps worth of fuel in the tank. So he'll likely be paying on lap 95 to 96. He'll have to go about 26 to 28 laps on his final stop, and that is assuming we do not have any yellows and have to do any green-white checkered overdrives. This race will end at the end of lap 122, assuming there are no green-white checkered overdrives. Now NC Boy for Life goes ahead and jumps into the pit lane. And Rewar has slipped by King Cameron back there in their fight for second and third. Remember, Rewar has about a lap advantage on tire life and fuel life, and now he can press it, maybe make it 2 laps, but Cameron is not done yet. Cameron is coming to the inside and fights back as Rewar licks the outside wall and turn forward just a little bit, and Cosmic is going to pit out 4th position now. So the drivers who are pitting later and later seem to be overall better and better off right now. They're cycling higher and higher up in the field. Lap 93 right now out of 122, so realistically 91 out of 120, so we are about 3/4 of the way through the race. Drivers who are pitting now, though, would have to go about 29 laps to the end on a fuel tank and a set of tires. It would be a big ask, but it might be possible. But the later you can push off this final stop, the better and easier it will be for you to make it to the end. Now Wolfraven pits out 5th position. So we may be looking at a bit of a fuel mileage game for the drivers farther back in the field, but for our top runners, I think they'll be fine. iRacers comes into the pits this time. King Cameron is slow. Boy, is he slow, and he's sliding. He's sideways, and King Cameron spins. Rewar pitted, iRacers pitted, but King Cameron has had a spin as missed pit lane entry. And that's going to derail King Cameron's run as your top 3 have all pitted. So Cameron is going to briefly take the lead of the race back, but he has spun out trying to get into pit lane. And this is likely going to see him drop well out of the top 5 now. And iRacers is going to maintain the majority of his lead, we believe, over EVR Rewar. Also, Zay has yet to make their next stop, so Zay is going really deep in the run. Are we under the yellow? Was that spin enough for a yellow? Are you serious? Was that spin really enough for a yellow? All right, well, I guess we are under the caution flag here at Miami for only the 2nd time today for a big lazy spin by King Cameron, your leader. So we're going to knock out an ad break, and we'll be back shortly here at Miami to see how the field shakes up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Homestead, Miami. Under this yellow flag, Wazowski and RV and Diamond will both get back on the lead lap. King Cameron, who spun, is actually going to benefit from this. He is going to be at the back of the field with fresher tires and no issue with fuel to the end. Zay is going to join him. So, we are at about 25 laps left in the event. Our leader is at 58% fuel. You do the math, it'll be tight, but Razor should make it on fuel. For Rewar, he's got much more fuel. Fuel will not be an issue for him. Cosmic, who runs in third, 64%. So it looks like everyone should be able to make it to the end on fuel under this yellow. So I think we're going to go green here. With about 20 some odd laps to go, about maybe 24 laps to go. As we see, Diamond and Wazowski have now caught the back of the grid. Or, it's not Diamond and Wazowski, that is Diamond and Zay. Wazowski has had something else happen that's put him well behind everyone else. Not really sure what's going on there. But the field now doubling up. Rewar will be on the outside lane, iRazor on the inside. So we've had a really long green flag run, got the field really nice and spread out. And now, everyone's gathered back up. iRazor and Rewar pitted at the same time, but Rewar has no issues with fuel. iRazor's a little bit on the edge, but I think he'll make it. And Rewar has been better with pushing the tires to the end, but iRazor has had pace. Wazowski still has yet to catch the rear of the grid, but he should catch them before we get to the start-finish line here. So, all 11 starters still on track right now. As they come down to the start-finish line once more. Green flag once again here. With 24 to go. 3 wide farther back, but iRazor is holding station over EVR Rewar. Cosmic trying to make something happen of it. King Cameron already trying to cut his way up through the field. He is in the middle of a 3 wide fight in the middle of the pack. As iRazor leads on the outside, but Rewar goes to the inside. That should put Rewar ahead of iRazor as they come out of turn number 4. And now King Cameron goes by Max D and Nix without too much issue. Next person he'll have to pass will be NC Boy for life. Rewar and iRazor continue to go neck and neck, but it looks like that inside line is going to be all the 29 needs. Rewar holding it nice and tight. There is Cosmic following behind. Nix hits the outside wall farther back and will drop to the back of the pack. Diamond's already losing touch with the field, it seems, but the top 10 all within 3/4 of a second right now. But everyone's going to be dealing with some significant tire fall off and handling issues as this goes on. iRazor outside, Rewar outside. Rewar dictates the line that the field takes going into 1 and 2. Leaves the inside open, but Cosmic does not have a lane set up to get by. iRazor is in the outside wall. It's going to squeeze NC Boy down. And iRazor slips back to 4th, might even lose 5th to Wolf Raven. Now it is Rewar once again who leads as NC Boy Life. Runs high out of 4 and will now fall behind Wolf Raven. Right on board with NC Boy, trapped on the outside line again. As the field just kind of freights past. When you're stuck on that outside line and you can't get the ideal lane you want, it is so painful. That's not to say the outside line is useless, but if you can't dictate the angle that you go into turn 1 or turn 3 at, that outside line is going to be nothing but pain. As now NC Boy falls to 8th, and he gets hit from behind by Wazowski. And we see Diamond now go by. So those are the first overtakes that Diamond has made for a little while. Is there any damage to Wazowski's car? No, he'll be able to continue, but he has completely lost pace now. So Cosmic now leads, and King Cameron has cycled his way to the front. He's going to have a significant tire advantage to the end here. Is that going to be enough for our champion to bookend this season with a victory here at Miami? Less than 20 laps to go. In fact, it's 19 at the line. 19 to go at the line. The top 6 all in a nice single file line at the moment. As Max, Zay, Diamond, NC, and Wazowski have all fallen off this lead group. King Cameron looks to the inside of Cosmic. Cosmic defends the inside line. Now he looks again as they head down to turn number 3. Can't get alongside, and he lets Wolfraven get his own good lane into 3 and 4, but Wolfraven goes too wide, compromises himself, loses a bunch of time. Second and third all hit the outside line there. Cameron now looks to the outside of Cosmic again. Will he try and cross him over on the exit of 2? Again, Cosmic defends the inside line very aggressively, so Cameron looks to the outside. Neck and neck, a little bit of contact. Now Cameron's going to try and cross the 24 over on corner exit again. Again, Cosmic defends the inside, but Cameron's got a nose there. He can't keep the 26 from having the inside line. Side by side. 24 pinches the 26 as tight as he dares, and the 26 backs out of it. He knows he has a tire advantage. He knows he can just kind of let this come back to him. But obviously, you want to make the move sooner rather than later in case something happens. And causes a yellow. And now the top 5 all starting to close back in on each other. Wolfraven now gets by King Cameron. Cosmic's aggressive blocks have kind of bunched the entire field back up here at Miami. King Cameron is now falling back behind EVR Rewar as well now. Here comes Wolfraven, looks to the inside of Cosmic. Does Cosmic sling down low and defend the inside against Raven? No, Raven actually is not close enough to encourage Cosmic to do any such thing. Not this time. 15 laps left in the event. Cosmic holds station. Wolfraven runs right in his tire tracks, but is not trying to make any big moves into the corners. Oh, but he closes in big time in turn 3 there. There's just no room for him to pull alongside the 24. Can he get a run coming out of the corner this time? Cosmic defends the inside aggressively, so Raven's going to go to the outside. Neck and neck for the lead as they dive into turn number 1. Raven has his nose ahead, but it is Cosmic who will dictate the lines for the top 2 through the corners, and there is nothing that Raven could do to fight back. Here comes Rewar to the inside of the number 91 now. So Cosmic leads. Cosmic is putting on quite a little defensive show right now, but his tires are at 27%. For context, Wolfraven, his tires are at 22%. And for King Cameron, his tires are at 20% flat. Well, we just had a disconnect. And it looks like it is Zay who's disconnected. What in the devil? So yeah, Zay is our disconnect, it seems. And he will finish last of our 11 starters. Cosmic leads. Rewar now in second, but he has a gap between himself and he is trying to keep King Cameron behind. They are hoping that Cosmic burns through his tires and can make some moves late. 12 laps to go, will be 11 to go at the line. Rewar looks to the outside. Cosmic defends the inside. Alright, and coming to the party right now is Zay1. Zay, are you able to hear me? Zay, can you hear me? In the Xbox party, are you able to include your audio? Go ahead and include your audio. Frustrating to see you knocked out just 15 laps, or less than 15 laps before the end of the race. What took you out there?
Came around turn 1 and the engine just exploded. Unfortunate to see. Had a good car. Probably could have got top 10. I mean, the top 5 if we stayed out of trouble, but yeah, that sucks to happen with just 15 laps to go.
All right, frustrating. One last question, though. Who do you think has this race won?
Probably Cosmic. He was out in front before the engine, went kabooey. So.
All right, it's a shame to have to talk to you this early, but thanks for jumping in and talking with us. Hopefully we get to see more of you in the future, mate.
All right, see you.
So Cosmic is now being swamped on the inside and the outside lines. King Cameron and Nick's Design putting him under pressure. iRazor is coming back in the fray. Look at Cosmic. He goes to an extreme inside line. He is so focused on making sure no one gets to his inside. He keeps letting drivers pull up along his outside. And he's only getting slower and slower. His tires are getting gradually worse and worse. Now, he's not going to be in a horrible position, but it's definitely going to make his car less reactive. Here comes iRazor, and look at that block that Cosmic throws. iRazor is so frustrated. He's going to go to the inside again. He gets to the inside. iRazor to the inside now. Cosmic rushes out wide. He loses 4, 5, might even lose 6 positions in just a single pair of corners. He does. From 1st to 7th in a pair of corners goes Cosmic. And now it goes back to iRazor, the guy who has led more laps than anyone else. But Nix is on his inside, and behind Nix is Rewar, and King Cameron's on the outside in row 2. 15 trying to do something to the 9 here, flying down the straightaway. Here comes Rewar. Is Rewar going to make it 3 wide into the corner? No, not quite yet. But now it looks like it is Nix Designs who is going to go into the lead here. At the line, it will be 7 laps to go. Nix leads, trying to block iRazor. Now here comes Rewar on the inside. Can't block Rewar in time. Rewar steams it up on the inside. Neck and neck again for 1st and for 3rd. I think this should be enough. Rewar might be able to muscle his way by now. Side by side, and it looks like Rewar will decide the lines going into 3 and 4. But Nix is going to keep him pinched really tight to the inside. But it's not enough. Now Nix, trapped on the outside line, starts hemorrhaging time. Rewar takes the lead with Wolf Raven in 2nd. And Wolf Raven's going to go up the middle 3 wide. So he'll be on the outside of Rewar as they go through 1 and 2 now. He goes wide, washes very wide in the corner. So now we see Rewar gain a good run. Here comes King Cameron now. Cameron to the extreme inside. And Cosmic's back into the fray as well. Gotta be 5 to go at the line. A pack of 6 cars, any of them could win it. 26, 29 in a dead heat. Look at Wolf Raven on the outside. There gotta be 4 wide as they come across the line. We've not seen that thus far today. And on the extreme inside, look who it is again. Cosmic, who loves that extreme inside. They're 4 wide again for 3rd. And Cosmic goes back to the lead. And here comes iRazor on the extreme inside. Cosmic slings down and blocks all the lanes he possibly can. But he leaves the inside just a little bit open on corner entry. And the entire field washing up wide. Everyone is dealing some tire fall off. Here comes King Cameron on the outside. Here comes Rewar on the inside. Rewar has a run. He's going to pull up alongside the leader. 3 wide as they go into the corner. 3 wide still. And it looks like Rewar's got it. That might have been the move. That might have been all that was needed. They're still 3 and 4 wide behind. Here comes Nix to the extreme inside. iRazor is in 2nd. iRazor looks to the outside, looks to the inside, makes contact there with Cosmic and slows both of them down. Nix is wide. Here comes Wolf Raven now on the inside. 3 to go at the line. 3 wide at the line as well. Rewar leads. That inside line is the key, but can you keep your car on the inside line? Nix is trying to make something happen on the extreme outside. Razor slaps the outside wall, will kill his momentum in the process. That might take him out of it. When they come to the line, it will be just 3 miles, 2 laps left here. Nix trying to make the outside work on Rewar. Side by side, 2 rows of 2. Rewar has to defend that extreme inside there from Wolf Raven, and Raven's got alongside anyway! There's 3 wides that go into turn 1! Raven's got the inside line! Does he have the momentum? Can he make it stick? Makes contact again with the 29, makes it contact twice! Now here comes Cosmic again! And it's Nix who has it's taken 3 laps, but Nix has made the outside line work! They're coming down, it will be the white flag! Nix has Wolf Raven right behind! Raven to the inside, white flag in the air. This is the final lap, no more yellows. Raven tries to get to the inside of the 15. His nose is there, but he doesn't have the momentum. Nick washes out a little bit wide, coming out of turn 2. The 91 has a run, looks to the inside. The Olympian drag race in turns 3 and 4. Raven goes to the inside. Nick goes high. Raven holds the inside. Is that it? Is that all it's going to take? It looks like it's going to be Wolf Raven as they come out of turn number 4. They're 3 wide behind. Raven's got to block all the lanes, and Raven will win it. They are 3 wide for a second behind. It looks like it was Nick's, then Cosmic and Rewar. So Wolf Raven is your winner here at Homestead Miami Speedway, and they only had 2 yellows, one for a spin and one for an early competition caution, and that will wrap up our race here. We're going to knock out an ad break, and when we are done, we'll come back and try and talk with some of our top finishers in today's race. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly with interviews. All right. Excuse me. Hey, are you guys able to hear me?
Yep, we got you.
All right. In the Xbox party, there should be an option to include your audio if you can. Go ahead and do that. All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you back here to Homestead Miami Speedway. The race is over, and the winner of the season finale here for Adrenaline's NASCAR League is Wolf Raven. But first, I want to go ahead real quickly and talk with a different person, King Cameron, champion of this season. The final race is in the books. What do you have to say about your run out there today?
It was just surreal. I genuinely just didn't even focus on the race. I was just thinking every single amazing, beautiful thing that's happened in this league. And I just, we brought it home 5th, but just getting across that line and knowing that we just went back to back in a season, I didn't think that was going to happen. It's just insane. This league has just given me so much, and those last 10 laps were some of the most just emotional laps I've run in my entire life, just thinking through, I've run 7 seasons of just memories. It was just amazing.
All right, you were up there fighting for the lead and fighting for the win at the end. You had a tire advantage, but it just didn't seem to work. Do you think there's anything different you could have done over those last 10 laps there?
I mean, I think I could have maybe worked with a couple different people, maybe run a bit different lines, but honestly, kind of the pack racing at the end, you kind of didn't really know what was going to happen. There was a lot of contact, a lot of sliding up, a lot of slide jobs. It's just, I think if I'd maybe been a bit more aggressive to the inside, I probably could have put myself in a better position, but I'll take home the 5th place.
All right. Cameron, thanks for jumping in with us. Good job as champion. The only question left is, if the next NASCAR game coming out turns out to be a complete flop or a complete dud, are you guys going to bring this series back and forth?
We'll just have to see.
All right, we'll keep that in mind. There may be some hope for more Forza racing from this group yet. Now I want to go ahead and talk with our race winner, Wolf Raven. Raven, go ahead, include your audio in the Xbox party. That was a fantastic move you made with 2 laps left and to hold on to it. That was great. How in the world did you make that happen, Raven?
It's just a case of pad racing was tight, really. It was trying to get the car in the right position, sort of at the right time. Nix didn't want to sort of give it up towards the end. He was sort of hard fought by him, and then tried to pull my fellow DPM driver Cosmic towards the line, but still on a podium for himself. So yeah, it's just a good race. Enjoyed it. Hard fought by everyone.
Fantastic drive. I do want to ask, what other series can we see you in Forza over the next few weeks or months?
So obviously I race in just a small knit group called DPM, obviously where me and Cosmic both come from. Obviously at Le Mans we ended a tour in Le Mans, sort of big first event. We didn't do too badly there. I think we're looking at sort of going back to tour as a group in the coming sort of big events that they've got coming up, so probably see us there as an entry. Just sort of try and build on the foundations we've started to build from moving it from a league to having sort of a team side to it as well. We've started to obviously try and put a team side to it and just sort of get the name out there a bit more.
All right. Well, you had a great run out there, and I would hope that a win here will help raise the stock and the value of that team going forward. Great job out there, mate.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah. Only reason with Cameron, obviously, we've raced with him in the past. He joined us at Le Mans. Asked, obviously, where he's raced with us. It's kind of like someone else to come across. So, first time racing with that group. Obviously, a great group of guys. Generally appreciate the invite to come and attend that final. What could be their final race on sort of big season of this game. So it's just obviously appreciate the invite from them. Stretching it out, obviously. It's a great race to finish off. This is a success they've had, which they've clearly had. They're a good group, and yeah, just appreciate the invite from them.
All right. Thanks once again, Raven.
No
Two more
worries.
drivers I want to talk with. I want to go ahead and talk with Nix. Nix, very competitive at the very end. It didn't seem like you had the stuff to really fight for lead in the mid parts of the race, but after that yellow, you were right there, slugging it out to the end. Go ahead, make sure your hours included. What do you have to say about your run out there today, Nix?
I'm a little heartbroken. I don't really know how to feel. With it being the last race, at least for this season, what like myself and my team has built over the past 3 years with the whole Adrenaline group and everything. It was I was really hoping to end off on a win. But a second place I'll take, and obviously congrats to Wolf for getting that win. But I played the strategy. I sat back. I tried to go a little off cycle compared to most people. Trying to be the aggressor. I was usually the one to come in within the one of the first guys in the top group to come in, and was trying to force more people to pit road. I was aggressive on fuel, I was aggressive on tires, and it put me in a good spot in the end. Obviously, cautions fell our way, but that's just a part of racing, and we'll work on this, and hopefully, with what happens next, I'll be there to win another. I still won this season, and that's happy to win in the final season of this league, but. And a podium to end it off is definitely a good one, but could have been better.
Yeah. I do want to ask, what other Forza events are we going to see you in over the next few weeks or months?
The future's really unknown. We've got a lot of my life's coming at me fast, and I know I got to deal with that, but when it comes to NASCAR leagues, I'll be in others like FRC and stuff. I'll still be managing this one, hopefully with one-off events. We don't want to end it off completely, but then once that new NASCAR game comes out, we're going to be there. We're going to be there. We're going to do what we can to rack up wins, rack up championships, and continue to be a fight on the racetrack, whether it's here, whether it's in another league, whether it's in Cup cars, GT, Formula style, just whatever I can get my hands on, whatever I can go fast in, I'm gonna do it. So, for me, everywhere, I guess.
All right, Nix, thanks for sharing this with us. Great
Thank you
job
very
out
much.
there. Might not have been a win, but that was a very well fought race, and you definitely put on some fun. Thanks for jumping in and talking with us as well.
Thank you very much.
All right, one more driver I want to talk to is EVR Rewar. Rewar will be the last interviews of the day. You seem to be a really interesting driver. You were able to push those tires way farther than anyone else could. What was your secret sauce to let you do that?
A lot of it, I just noticed people were just driving it into the corners. So I just backed up the corners, let up sooner, let the car rotate, and get on throttle sooner. It was a lot easier in the car. I wasn't pushing it as hard.
Well, sure worked well. You were running top 3 all day, and if not for that late race yellow, I do think that while you may have been behind on track position, you were setting yourself up to have a fantastic run over the last 7 or 8 laps, as everyone else's tires would have fallen off. If not for that yellow, I do think you would have been possibly fighting for a win at the very end, kind of like a Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson at Atlanta in 2005 type stuff. You were really thinking the long game way better than everyone else out there.
Yeah, I definitely that late race caution screwed me. I was 100% banking on it going the long run, because I mean I kind of do that a lot. I'm really fast at long runs. The short runs I still struggle with a little bit, but I'm really fast on the long runs. And I mean the car felt great. I want to give a shout out to Nix for allowing me to run this number 29 Chevy for Nitrogen Motorsport. Want to get a win for him, but you know it is what it is. That's racing.
In that final run to the end, do you think there's anything different you could have done that would have gotten you into the top position, though?
Possibly. I don't know. It got really aggressive, and I just got shuffled out multiple times. So I probably could have been a little bit more aggressive, but I don't like racing like that. So, it is what it is.
Hey, I understand that 100%. One more question. What other Forza events are we likely going to see you in over the next few weeks or months?
I'll be running the full season of FRC. The defending champion in that one, so I definitely want to go back to back in that. My team, Evolve Racing, we will run most like the big endurance events. So, E-Racing United, their endurance events, Tours endurance events, and some other ones we plan on doing. So yeah, and I might poke around in some smaller NASCAR leagues in the meantime. We'll see what happens.
All right, we'll definitely be very interested to see what you can do going forward. Thanks for jumping in and talking with us, mate.
Yep, have a good one.
All right, and with that in mind, that will close this chapter for Adrenaline's NASCAR racing on Forza. It may not be over yet. They may end up returning in the future, but right now their plans are to go to the proper NASCAR game once that game launches in about 2 months' time. With that in mind, I have been your host for today's broadcast, Insane Leader 13. This has been a very active day of racing, and if you want more, don't you worry. Jump back in tomorrow, and we will get to continue to see the IndyCar Championship go forward as FEC's IndyCar Summer Series is on its final stretch of races as well. But with that in mind, I want to thank you all for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you whether it be tomorrow or next week. Until then, farewell and goodbye, everyone.